Hi guys, welcome to the GitHub part 3 I guess, because there was some GitHub earlier videos as well. And today we'll be talking about continuous integration. So a lot of you, especially who are freshers, have difficulty in understanding these type of concepts because people don't teach you from ground up. And the thing is that these kind of things are not known by many data scientists as well. And guys, see, why I'm teaching you all this is because this is the tech stack that's gonna scale in future. Traditional machine learning, traditional AI knowledge is good to have, but that is not scalable because LLMs are on the verge of achieving at least white collar level AGI, right? Not that it's 100% accurate yet, but the rate at which it is progressing, I believe it's gonna get there. So now today we'll be talking about continuous integration, specifically in terms of data science. So this is a big topic, but yeah, we'll keep it short, small, just to get that hey, this is actually what you do in a company. Okay. Now, what is continuous integration? Continuous integration is a software development practice where developers regularly merge their code into a central repository. Okay, that's fine, not a big thing. So whenever you open GitHub, you would have, let's create a new repository. Okay, I'll be doing everything from scratch, guys. Okay, don't worry. So CI demo prod. Okay, I'm adding a readme file as well. And in the git ignore, I'm adding Python. So git ignore is the file that essentially tells that what not to push to GitHub. And for license, I'm essentially choosing an MIT license. It's okay, right? License is just for two things. One is for your reproducibility of the code, and the other thing is that if you're releasing a package, right, so you need to have a license that what people can do with your code and what they cannot do. I think that's okay, not a big deal. So we have created a repository and we are good till here. So the first step is cloning a repository. Okay, so let me open a folder, guys. You can do it with any folder, no issues. And one more thing, guys, that initially from learning perspective, just experiment, right? I've seen people asking which folder to keep, how folder to keep. Just chill with it, just do it, right? Everything is going to fall in its place. So let me just open up my command lines. I'm typing cmd and I'm typing code dot. So now my VS code is going to get opened. Okay, so now essentially I'm opening my terminal and I'm typing the command git clone and this repo link. So now this is going to clone my repo. Now what cloning is, see, this was on the cloud, now it is in my local machine. I can work on it. Let me just change the directory, ci demo underscore prod. Okay, just don't name your repo like this. I think I missed it, so it should have been a dash, but yeah, just ignore it for the timing. So we are good till here. Now what's the next thing? Now the next thing is, for dummy purposes, I'm adding a file called app.py. So we need to write some code. Let me take some code from what I have. It is a very basic program that I have written. It will just do subtraction of two numbers. I have one ci demo. So let me just take that to save time. And guys, as I said, that learn how to leverage LLMs for coding. I have a lot of ideas which are executed by some folks in terms of research papers. I'll execute them in front of you as well. Then you will realize that how to actually do coding with LLMs, right? It's not always about copying code from GPT. So just stay with me. Simple program is just subtracting two numbers, nothing great here. Okay, just for the simplicity as well, I will run this as well. Okay, py app.py, enter number one, enter number two, you're going to get the result. That's it. Now we need to push this code to GitHub. So guys, this is like there is a centralized repository. Okay, this is my main is my centralized repository. Usually in your organization, if you are following this kind of a structure, most organization till now I have seen, they don't have this much setup, but still it's good to have these things. Your big companies, right? Any organization which is multinational is very likely to have this kind of setup, and I have seen this. So this is okay, right? CI demo is okay. Okay, sorry, not this one. We were doing something else. Let me just open the correct repository. So CI demo prod, right? This much is okay. So now we have this. Now this is my main branch. This is the central branch. So Usually you don't do development in central branch because this branch would be connected to, let's say you have built an app and it's connected, right? It's the production branch. You don't push anything to the production branch, but just for the time being, we are doing it for demo purposes that I have some code in the main branch. Okay, git add, then we can write git commit and give a message first commit, or let's write demo add. As I said, added demo code. Okay, now this is done. Now let's push it, git push origin main. So now see guys, we have pushed our code to the main branch. We are good till here, no issues. Now let's say this is an application and that has been built by someone. Now we are talking about continuous integration. What is continuous integration? Continuous integration is a software development practice where developers regularly merge their code into a centralized repository. So what will happen in your organization? First of all, you will have to create your own branch. Okay, so let me give you the command, that is git checkout -b feature. So I'm creating a new branch. Why? Because I want to isolate my work. I want to work in my own local machine. I can't directly work in the centralized system, right? So this is very important, guys. First of all, whenever you're building something and your organization has a repository, try to create your own branch and then we'll see what to do next. But create your own branch. Never directly do something in main or master branch, guys. This is not done. And even I have done these kind of mistakes in some part of my career, so please guys avoid it. So git checkout -b feature. So now I am in the feature branch. Even you can type the command to say git branch branch. You're gonna be showing that okay, we are in feature branch. Okay, we are good. Now let's say I'm doing some changes. This was a big data science project, data science code base, and what I'm changing is I'm changing these two things. Okay, I just feel that this should be done. So now you have taken down the code and you have added your bit in the code. And now what you're going to do? Nothing. You're going to just push it. Git add, git commit, changed, anything guys. Change letters to words. I've given some short note on how to write commit messages as well. But for the time being, just consider it as dummy only. Okay. Git push -u origin feature. Now we have, this is my branch. Okay, whatever I do, no one really cares about your branch, guys. Okay, this is your branch. Whatever you did it here. Okay, now this is your branch. This is a branch that is like isolated to you. Do anything whatever you want to do. Now that portion is done. You have written a code and now you've checked it and now you feel that okay, now I need to maybe create a pull request. So what is a pull request? See, now this code needs to be merged to the main branch. That is when it will go to production, right? Then it will go to live, right? Let's say there is an app that's connected to main branch. So what will exactly happen is that once you create a feature branch, you need that code to be merged, right? So you will, for merging of code into the main or centralized repository, you need to create a pull request. Some people call it PR. So change letters to word, you will create a pull request. Now the senior developer or the manager, what it will do is it will get a notification. If he or she will open this CI demo prod, he will see that okay, there is a pull request being created. So now he will check it, he will go inside it and he'll see okay, this is there. He'll go to commits and then he will open it. He'll say okay, this is a good change, right? Okay, I feel right, yeah, this needs to be done. So good work on that. And now he is going to open your pull request and now he has seen and he believes that okay, your code is good and you have done all the testing and right guys. So we'll see a little bit on testing as well about the CI part, but understand, right, whenever you push your code and whenever you create a PR, very important thing, whenever you create a pull request because you want your code to be merged into main branch, you need to take care of the fact that your code has to be tested. So guys, I'll be telling you a few things which I have realized in organizations. One is that testing is important. I haven't really yet seen a pipeline that's super efficient on testing on data science. Maybe we'll create one in this project. Second of all, that's very important is at time usually people don't, even the senior people might not go into the code and all and see that okay it needs to be merged or not. If there is no merge conflict and they trust you, they're going to do it, but this can crash your main branch as well. I have seen this happening. All this happens, guys. Okay, no one is going to tell you, but all this happens. So now on that note, just be careful, guys. Okay, there's nothing wrong in it. We all do mistakes. I have done many mistakes. You will do a lot of mistakes. That's where we learn. But if something is really mission critical, right, then be careful in pushing code to the main branch. If you're creating a pull request, be sure with it, because if the approver is not serious, it can like bring down any application completely down. So be careful. So now the manager is happy with your coding and he's like, okay, let me approve it. So I've approved it. So now the merging is complete. Now what if I'll go to my main branch, I'll see the code would have been merged. See, change letters to word. So it's now 1 or 2. Okay, so the commit message should be changed. No, it changed. Yeah, just ignore the commit message. It's a dummy commit message only. So that's fine. Okay, now you're able to see things are good till here. So now this is one thing that is basically continuous integration is a software development process where developers regularly merge their codes into central repo. I think I have shown you the demo. Fine. Each merge triggers an automated process that builds and run tests to ensure new code doesn't break existing functionality. Now guys, this is the part that you need to learn. Not learn, guys, see. Usually what happens is there are two things. Usually in data science based projects, having a direct test file is like a lot of people don't have it. So they do a lot of manual testing, which is also okay. But I'll be giving you a short demo on how to create this automated process by knowing something that is known as GitHub Actions. Now you'll be like, what is GitHub Actions? So see guys, GitHub Actions, let me just zoom it a bit. I think 20 is good. GitHub Action is a feature of GitHub that helps you automate software development workflows directly in your GitHub repositories. Okay. So guys, see, what we'll do is we'll leverage GitHub Actions. We are going to write something. It's going to run automatically and do the testing automatically. So now this is the job of usually if you're really doing a great project, right, really building something, so you would have one person dedicated to testing as well, because you don't do testing manually. Mostly in a lot of organizations, especially in data science, you tend to do testing manually, but like that's also fine. I won't say anything out there because it's essentially a lot of companies are adapting to the CI/CD pipeline, but you would have a testing file. Now how to create those testing file, and we'll see all those things over here. Now the next thing is we are on feature branch. Okay, now this someone pulled feature branch and stuff, and now he's working. Just assume and create a dummy scenario in your mind. Now what he's doing is he wants that whenever you push the code, okay, whenever you push the code to any repository, like we have a main and feature repository, there should be some testing going on. Same for pushing, same for pulling, so that things don't break. Okay, things don't break in between. We need to automate the testing. We need to automate the test cases. So now how we'll do it? Okay, so how to get started on that? First of all, what you need to create is a folder. Name it as .github. Okay guys, this is standard convention. I can't answer why .github, and then you need to create one more folder called workflows. This is how GitHub wants it to be, so I can't help it. And then inside that create a file called ci.yaml. Okay, usually all these works you don't do, but still good to know. Now you will go to, I'll just paste content of ci.yaml. So it's a YML file. Okay, and let me just GitHub workflows ci.yaml. Okay, so now what is it? Is a pipeline. Okay, what is a pipeline? Pipeline is when you combine certain actions and you want it to run in an automated way. Okay, we'll talk a lot about pipelines in this course. So on push pull request, so main and feature. Now on pull, on push, so whenever you will create a pull request and whenever you will push the code, it will run some test. Why it is running some test, sir? Because I want to test that is the functionality of the code okay? Sir, we can do it manually. You can do it manually. Most companies in data science do it manually, but sir, we have to automate it. Okay, this is the importance of this file. Then what it is going to do is, it is going to check and install, it is going to create a Python environment and stuff, and then it is going to run this command pip install, and then it's going to run pip install. So we need to create a requirements.txt as well, because it will run this command. Like, it's okay if you don't understand this file. Even I don't understand it fully, but I understand that okay, there is something, a run command, so I need to be careful on this. So let me create a requirements.txt as well. Requirements.txt, this much is okay, guys. Okay, just keep it empty for the time being, it's fine, nothing will happen. So yeah, it will going to install, and then it is running this thing. Now what is this essentially is, you need to create one more folder called TESTS, that's tests. Okay, I guess I created it in the wrong thing. Let's just delete it. Okay, let's just create a new folder, tests, and let's just create something known as test_app.py. Let me see that I'm following the correct convention or not. So see guys, even I don't remember it, because these type of files usually are not set up by data scientists, but it's good to know. Okay, so yeah, test_app.py. Let me copy the test code as well. So see, this is a Python package that I'm importing, and it's going to essentially help me do certain set of computations. That is 10 minus 5 5 is 1 minus 1 minus 1 minus 2 0 minus 0 0. So if my code will pass all three test cases, things will be fine. It would be fine. Okay, and then even the concerned person, right, who is the concerned person is basically your manager or someone, he'll be also happy that okay, there was a test file and at least it has passed all the cases. Even you can automate the pulling of like merging of the code as well. We'll see that later. Okay, I mean, we don't need to see that, but this much knowledge is okay. So essentially, let's talk in context of CI only. CI is essentially the process of continuously integrating my code to the main branch, and I'm creating a test file. Why I need to create a test file? See, if you'll read what I've written, each merge triggers an automated process that builds the project and runs tests to ensure that the new code does not break existing functionality. So people in real software engineering process spend a lot of time in writing this sort of file, so that the test cases run and my code doesn't break anywhere. Okay, in companies, what happens is that usually even like they try to test it with virtual traffic, right? So if you are creating an application, and let's say you are not sure that what will happen if say 5,000 users are using it concurrently. So even companies, I think there's a startup that's backed by YC. So essentially they are building this is that, hey, we can provide you virtual traffic. So before you push it to the production branch, you need to have a test thing, right? This is a test.app file. It's going to automatically run. Why? Because I have written this command. My requirement first, what will happen is my pip is going to get upgraded, my requirements.txt will get installed, and then this test cases would run. And if test cases pass, so it's good. So usually in data science based thing, you will have cases where someone maybe has written that check this model for this input, maybe manually defined 5 inputs, or generally test the accuracy of the model. So in data science based roles, what people usually write, if they are following such a nice pipeline, I'll tell you what some sort of things they do is that these are 5 outputs which are essential for business processes. Classification problem 0 1 1 0 0 1. Okay, so they'll say that these are my 5 variables. If you will pass them, what should be the output? And if 5 out of 5 are correct, and those are defined by business, those are say edge cases or tough cases, then only the code needs to be pushed. So yeah, that's it. So now let's just do some bit of git commands. I think now you understand GitHub. I think this much GitHub is fine. So you need to commit it, and workflows added. get push -u origin feature. Okay, origin feature. So yeah, let's just see what happened. Let's just go to CI demo. Let me go to feature branch. So see guys, this worked. Now what is happening is, now we'll discuss on it. Now I'll try to summarize whatever I have done, and now you will understand everything what is exactly happening. See guys, what is essentially CI is a software development process where developers regularly merge their code into the central repository. So I showed you one way, which a lot of companies do. Hey, there is a central repository. I am creating my own branch, doing some coding, pushing it to the central repository. But number one thing is that while pushing it to the central repository, while creating a pull request, if I'm creating a pull request, now I'll show you it. If I create a pull request now if I go to feature branch, and if I create a pull request, okay, this is how you create a pull request. If you create a pull request and then you just close it, so see, all checks have passed, one successful check. So why this check came in? Because of the testing file which I added. See now, why this is again running? Because I have written it in this YAML file that on every pull request run this file, on every push run this file. Why I need to run it? Because in a continuous manner I need to test that whether test.app is running fine or not. This is my testing file. Usually guys, this much complex scenarios don't occur, but just try to see this thing. Okay, usually DevOps people are there if you're really doing something that's on a large scale, so they help you. Even in my organization, I don't do these things. The DevOps team and the tech team does it, but these are good to know things because you would be using them a lot in your daily workloads. So now what you have essentially done is that you've created this thing, okay, that you created a test underscore app.py file, and it is running. When it is running, whenever you are pushing something to these branch, whenever you're doing a pull request to these branch. And what is this pipeline? So what is pipeline? A set of actions. Okay, let me just spend 2-3 minutes over here. Some of you might not understand pipeline and all. So there is a word called pipeline. Let's say I'm writing a Python code that will go to Google News, fetch the daily news, summarize it, and send an email. That's a cool project, right? I just made that up. We can do it. We'll do it. Send an email. Now I run this code once and it works. Now I'm happy. But I need to run it daily. So will I come on the machine and run it daily? No. I'll create a pipeline. Okay. I'll create a pipeline so that this code will run daily automatically at say 6 p.m. Now at say 6 p.m. I said at 6 p.m. What is at 6 p.m. is schedule trigger. Okay. So at 6 p.m. this will run at a schedule trigger. Okay, now you understand schedule trigger. There is something known as, there are a lot of types of triggers. Okay. The most common one is, like people use schedule also. The one is that basically a pipeline runs because of a trigger. And usually there is a thing that, hey, whenever a new file gets uploaded to a container, what is container? A folder. Whenever a new thing gets uploaded somewhere, run that thing again. So this type of thing we'll discuss in our ETL things. I don't want to distract you guys, but yeah, a pipeline needs a trigger to run. What is the trigger over here? Because it's on, right? So you need to trigger is basically a push on the main and feature branch and a pull request on main and feature branch. Okay, and then the test file will run automatically, and if in case it passes, so it's good, if in case it fails, it's bad. So now what we today essentially learned is that we learned about continuous integration, that hey, we need to push the code to the centralized repository. I'll be explaining you simple. Always first pull the branch, do stuff, do QC, push it, and then some test cases will run automatically. In a lot of organization, this kind of pipeline is not there, so just chill. But yeah, you need to know that some test cases will run automatically, and if these test cases fail, it's not a bad thing. A lot of people consider that test cases failing is a bad thing. I don't consider it. The idea is, if you have a pipeline which restricts you from sending some code which fails in earlier check, so it's good only, na? You can improve on it. There is nothing bad out there. You can improve. So just fix your code, redo the entire process, make sure the testing file runs without any issues. So essentially today you saw that okay, there is something known as GitHub action. It helps me execute pipelines, and what it like they call it workflows. So workflows is also sort of pipeline only. So we had workflows and we had this CI pipeline. So this was continuous integration pipeline. So we created a thing called .yaml file, and because of this my test.app file also got triggered. Why it got triggered? Because I have written this command. So it will look for tests. Inside test I need to have test underscore app, and it's gonna get it done. So guys, in case you don't understand it, I think you should understand it. I have made a lot of effort to just keep things relatively simple, because this is something everywhere it happens. There is no company which, I think the process of just pulling something, then doing some of your own stuff and pushing it, and then some test cases running automatically via GitHub action, this is something that works daily. Okay, so all these things are very important, guys. We are going good. I think the course is moving finely, and today you learned about continuous integration using GitHub. We'll try to have CI/CD as well, continuous integration as well as continuous deployment, and I'll show you how it can be done in a very simple manner using Azure only. So all this .github workflows, YAML file, everything is going to be created by Azure only. That's how effective Azure is, and I think we should also like do the same thing only. I think a lot of times a lot of people don't use GitHub Actions, they use cloud. So let me see if I can show you if I have anything deployed on Azure. Yeah, I think social media GPT was deployed on Azure. Yeah, so see .github workflows, and they created this YAML file. Now see this YAML file, see how big it is, and now they have basically written this YAML file. Okay, and it will be created in a click of a button. So I'll show you that as well, on how to get that continuous integration thing as well as continuous deployment. What is continuous deployment? So what will happen is, let me use this pen over here. What will happen is that this is the main branch. Okay, this is the main branch. Let me just write a pen as well. This is MAIN. This is the main branch. So once you push your code from Aditya or feature branch to the main branch, automatically and after this would be done, after it has passed all the test cases, okay, then only it will be pushed to the main branch. Once it's pushed to the main branch, automatically those things would reflect in your website or web app as well. So this is known as CI/CD. So usually companies have an automation of testing process as well, that hey, is the model working good on these test cases, is the model having this much threshold of accuracy, and then it would get pumped into the main, and once it pushed to the main, automatically it will get up to the web app, and all this would be done with the help of this file called social media, like the YAML file. And usually you will find out that let me just cancel this pen, I don't need it anymore. So this would be written by them only. Okay, see, it's logging to Azure, deploy everything, deploy to work web app, everything is going to be done. I'll show you in next video. Okay, so I think for today it was a good session. Today you learned a lot about how to actually work in an organization, and definitely in upcoming lecture we'll create an application and push it to the cloud, in which you will see how simple CI/CD is with Azure. It's simple, and there is an element of Docker to it as well. So I'll see. I might not cover Docker very initially. The thing is, usually Docker is used for heavy applications that is there. So currently I don't have Docker on my system, but yeah, I'll try to explain Docker as well. Might not be now, but soon. So thank you guys for staying in. Have a great day. Bye.